Hey, me Matt here. So now I'm going to talk about Wrestlemania 12, which was Golden Pond in California. Which, yeah, I wasn't watching wrestling at that time, but again, you have another concept. First Iron Man match of Wrestlemania. Just talked about the thing with the champion versus champion. That was never really done at Wrestlemania at that time. So, yeah, this was a good show. You have the pre-show, two pre-shows actually. You have Body Donna's Skip and Zip with Sonny, who defeated the Godwins to win the vacated WWF title. Don't know why they didn't put this on the main show, but fuck it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Godwins. Actually, no, I like the Godwins. I thought they were pretty cool. And not too much I could say about the Body Donnas. I mean, I think that Dr. Tom Pritchard was a pretty good tag team wrestler. And I mean, still behind the scenes as well. And then, of course, Chris Candido would pass away, well, a decade later, in 2004, I think it was. But then fuck Sonny. So, yeah, then we have the Huckster versus Nacho Man. Yeah. Also, Billionaire Ted as the special guy. You know what? This vignette stuff was just fucking terrible. I mean, yeah, I know Hulk Hogan and Macho Man went to fucking WCW, but really, what was the point? Fuck. Well, then you have this match, a six-man tag team match. You got the British Bulldog, Owen Hart, Big Van Vader, with Jim Cornette, who took on Ahmed Johnson, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Yokozuna. And yeah, this was weird. The only person alive here is Ahmed Johnson. But you have guys like Owen Hart and British Bulldog, and British Bulldog has been around for, I'd say, 15, 20 years roughly, who knows. And in the WWF, I think it was, well, you know what, 85, so I would have been allowed. It doesn't matter. Anyways, yeah. And then Jake Roberts came back, which I obviously think he should not have. It was kind of stupid. He had found religion, he quit drinking and doing drugs at the time. And, you know, he tried to clean his act up, but unfortunately, it didn't necessarily work. It says here, had Yokozuna's team won, he would have received 5 minutes in the ring with Jim Cornette. So, this is when Yokozuna turned face and talking, which I still don't get to this day. But I just don't remember that, so. You had the Hollywood backlot brawl with Roddy Piper and Gold Dust. Again, past versus present. Got Marlita in Gold Dust's corner. What was interesting about this match, though, was you have Gold Dust and Roddy Piper film. I think it was 2 days before. And then they would do that. And then at the night of WrestleMania, they were backstage. And basically, you know, they would carry on where they would leave off. So yeah, parking lot brawl, you have Goldust. That was Piper, broke his knuckles. Something like that. He did the O.J. Simpson footage with the white Bronco. Yeah. Anyways, they fought back to the ring. basically Piper took off Goldust's costume and he had a thong, which basically Piper won the match. But I mean, I thought about this the other day too. People say, oh well, it was D-Generation X and Stone Cold Steve Austin that started the Attitude Era. No, in my opinion, and that's probably only my opinion, Goldust basically was the one that had started it. I mean, he was ahead of his time. He was a guy. You had Adrian Street, you had Adrian Adonis, but Goldust somehow made it sexual. And I specifically remember watching a segment with Goldust and Ultimate Warrior. And first off, how eccentric or feminine that Dustin made that character. And then Warrior using the word bullshit while they bleeped it out. But that was the first time I heard anything like that in WWF at the time. And then, of course, Kick Your Ass. That wasn't really heard of either. But they had their feud. It was the shits. This match was pretty good. I don't know if they did anything after that. Yeah, I mean, you have Piper and Jerry Lawler have their match and their feud, and that was awful as well. So you have the WrestleMania debut of not Stunning Steve Austin or the Ringmaster, but Stone Cold Steve Austin, who defeated Savio Vega. And that was a knockout. That was the $1 Million Dream. And I'm sure this match, I think Salvio was somebody that I don't know how well he would have done as a WWF champion. He was probably more of a mid-card anyways, but not having the Intercontinental Champion, I think they would have used that. They should have used that. Unfortunately, they never did. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, obviously, later this year, he would have that Austin 316, says I just whipped your ass. And he would go on to be one of the best professional wrestlers, or whatever, in the company, in history. I mean, I was a huge fan in late 98. And yeah, that rhymes, but that's how awesome, how fucking cool this guy turned out to be. He comes in as the Ringmaster. He made it work. But then you have the Stone Cold character. And it was so much better. And it was so fucking amazing. And glad that it stuck and is still talked about to this day. And here's a guy who not only thrived, but is a triple crown. So that's cool. I mean, last year, his match with Kevin Owens was very good. A guy that hadn't been in the ring since WrestleMania 19. And it was like he just wrestled yesterday. Even though it was a street fight, it was still pretty damn good. So this match was interesting. You have the returning Ultimate Warrior versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley with Sable. Yeah, he always came out with valets. And basically, Sable made her debut. So, yeah, this was pretty awesome as well. And I mean, awesome is an understatement. It was pretty bad. From what I hear, it was supposed to be longer, but Jim didn't want it that long. He wanted to basically do a squash. So he didn't make Paul look good, and didn't sell, and then pinned him with his knees on his chest, and that was it. So I mean, that's the thing. You have Warrior coming in after he got fired the first time in '92. So this is the second time he shows up after being fired twice, I believe. And, he's just so unprofessional. And it's a wonder. We talk a lot of shit about Vince, but this guy is one for giving chances. And I think he really wanted Jim Hellrick to be better, but it just didn't work. In fact, his run in UCW was no good. And we know about that match with Hogan. It was the shits. That's all I have to say about this match, but, you go ahead.
One thing I really think that somebody should have done was teach Hogan how to properly throw a fucking fireball, because he screwed that up so goddamn bad. I'm surprised he still had hair,
eyebrows, and fucking hair.
Yeah.
Well, not that he had nothing up, whatever.
Like, still had a beard and the long hair on the back of his head. Because, you can see in the match, he pulls out this little Ziploc sandwich baggie, whatever, and it's got, the flash paper and a lighter. And all you gotta do is just light the paper, go like that with your hand, and woo, fireball, and have a big show, and have a big ooh ah moment. Well, ooh ah, holy fuck, it sucked.
So, yeah, you have Triple H have the interview, Wrestlemania 2000, I think it was, the backstage thing, and he talked about this match, and yeah, he was very disappointed, and I can see why. You have this match with The Undertaker versus Diesel, and two things about this match, because you have Kevin Nash at the Stone Cold Pot sessions, Broken Skull sessions, and he says that, well, he was on his way out. He would have stayed, but there was some business that really bothered him, and he was like, fuck it, I want to leave. But then you look at The Undertaker. Mark Calloway was served papers from his first wife, so it was like his head wasn't in the game. But they still put on one hell of a match, and there was, Diesel toying with Undertaker while he's laying on a mat, and he sits up. Undertaker obviously won. Kevin's like, it took me a while to get up, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stay down for as long as I can. So I guess when Piper and Goldust were coming back, you could see Kevin walking in Gorilla. So, but this was good, and I mean, I've always been a fan of Kevin Nash, and I don't agree with everything, but I don't agree with everything with Undertaker or any of the other guys that I enjoy watching, but I think this was still a very good match, and I know that Diesel and Undertaker had a lot of good matches, so. Then we have the 60-minute Iron Man match. We just had that match with Bryan and MJF. So this match was pretty cool. You have Jose Lothario coming out, and he points to the ceiling. You got Shawn in the rafters, and he's sliding down, and you can you know, a showstopper, whatever you want to call it. Bret Hart comes out, you know, kind of cool. Still, I was a Bret Hart. I mean, I wasn't really paying attention that much, but I was still a Bret Hart fan, and I fucking hated Shawn. And so you got, I believe it was Jack Tunney and Gorilla Monsoon, and I can't remember who else. I think it was Earl talking about the rules of the match. And this was fun. It really was. There was really no falls, which was, yeah, in a way, it was really disappointing. But that's the only way you could determine how many falls you get, and the most falls win. But this didn't happen. You have Shawn try to choke out Bret. You have Bret do the sharpshooter. There's a point where you have Bret actually near Tony Chimmel, and Bret ducks because Shawn's gonna hit a super kick. Sweet chin music, if you will. So the match happens. You got Bret put Shawn in the sharpshooter, and the time runs out. So I think Bret won. Bret heads up the aisle. There's talks, and you know, the Fink gets on the microphone saying, "This has to be sudden death. There has to be a winner." So Bret gets back in. They restart the match. They're both exhausted, obviously, and you think Bret's gonna win again. Out of nowhere, you have Shawn Michaels hit the sweet chin music for the win, the Boyhood Dream. And there's a thing where you have, you know, Bret and Shawn when they had their DVD, and they had said that the whole thing where Shawn tells Bret to get the fuck out of his ring as he's getting the belt put on was all an act. Apparently. I don't fucking know. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan at this time, but I can say that if I was watching religiously, I would be pissed off. But this was a good show, and yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.
So you know that them cutting WCW was a long time coming. But I think that there's this myth out there that Jamie Keller
Gnarly.
that's why he took pleasure in cutting WCW. I don't think that's the case at all. Because if you look at some of his earlier interviews, like